It didn't take me very long to consider coming forward and telling my story. Realizing who this man was and who he had access to, I knew I wasn't only carrying myself, I was going to be carrying a lot of other women and young girls with me. And I needed to do it. I wanted to do it.
Before it all came to light, their world looked like it was supposed to. Bright young athletes epitomizing those ideals of sport: discipline, determination, and perfection. But in the shadows alongside it all, a dangerous culture emerged. A culture where no one wanted to stand in the way of victories and gold medals, where abuse went unquestioned and athletes were disposable, and where a pedophile like Larry Nassar could exploit his standing and reputation as a doctor, preying on young children's trust and wielding it against them.
He was Larry Nassar. He worked with Olympians. So right away, I felt like, wow, this is such a privilege.
He would have us take our leotards off and be face down on a treatment table. And that's how this began.
I believe I was either 12 or 13 years old.
It was after my 13th birthday.
I was 24 years old.
He started doing this weird treatment.
This so-called treatment.
In order to loosen up the muscles in my back to help make my pain go away.
I had a back injury, and he was the guy to see.
He had been doing it for so many years.
At MSU, at my own gym.
Every time at the ranch.
John Goddard's gym.
And at the Olympics.
He started putting his
fingers inside.
without gloves.
8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old.
On my bed, in my hotel room.
Internally, fixing my tailbone.
Okay, this must be the treatment that's gonna help me.
So it was something that I just dealt with.
I was draped with a sheet.
Or like a towel over my...
Using lotion on his...
And I told him to stop, and he hid in the corner while he calmed down.
Larry was shameless.
Very brazen, he was very practiced. He was allowed to do any treatments he wanted.
3 to 4 times a week.
Twice a day.
3 or 4 days.
At least an hour and a half every time I went, every single time.
A few times a week.
From when I was 10 to 20.
I reported in 1997 when I was 16 years old. I was told that I must be misunderstanding. His hands will get close to certain areas, but they are never inappropriate. I said, well, that's not what is happening to me. The disturbing thing is, had somebody done the right thing, hundreds of girls could have been spared.
Abuse, silence, victory. Abuse, silence, victory. This cycle was repeated over and over for generations. But finally in 2016, it was disrupted, starting with an Indiana newspaper, followed by one woman coming forward, then another, then more.
I spent those years just hoping that I was the only one. But how could I be?
Dr. Larry Nassar was arrested yesterday in Indiana.
Dr. Larry Nassar has been charged with 3 counts
U.S. gymnastics doctor pleaded guilty to sexually abusing young gymnasts while claiming to treat their injuries.
I was greeted by an image, a mugshot of Nassar on the television screen. I knew instantly that what I had thought was extremely inappropriate was real.
I'm not gonna cry anymore.
that moment, like that's when my life really started to like move again.
After years, and for some decades, their silence finally ended this past January. There in a Michigan courtroom, they came together and reclaimed their voice, no longer alone in their fight.
Honorable Judge Aquilina, first I would like to thank you.
I felt like I was taking back that 16-year-old that was stolen. Her innocence, my innocence. I was taking that back.
To Larry, today I'm speaking to you as my 10-year-old self.
I should have never met this sad excuse for a man.
You stole my innocence from me.
I can't even put into words how much I hate you.
How dare you ask any of us for forgiveness?
You are pathetic to think that anyone would have any sympathy for you.
The time is up. No longer.
This army you have created, this army doesn't have a white flag to wave.
But even though I'm a victim, I do not and will not live my life as one. I'm an Olympian.
Larry, this group of women you so heartlessly abused over such a long period of time are now a force, and you are nothing.
It became something so much bigger. As the days went on, the momentum built, and the country, the world started listening to us.
Army of survivors. We are Jane Doe's no more.
All of those years of questioning myself and my own worth were over. I wasn't a victim anymore. I was a survivor, and I had an army of survivors behind me too.
I believe in individualized sentencing. I follow the Constitution, and I believe our system works. I also believe these survivors.
I'm speaking up today for the first time publicly in order to honor my 2-year-old daughter and to be able to show her that her mom was brave and that her mom stood up.
If we have to walk this journey to make sure that no other little girl has to walk this journey, then that's exactly what we're going to do.
Jordan Weaver, survivor.
Tiffany Thomas Lopez, survivor.
Lindsay Lemke,
Jamie Dancher,
Sterling Reekman, Larson, Maggie Nichols,
Haley Loren,
Larissa Boyce,
survivor.
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 Rachel Denhollander, survivor.
More than 300 survivors have come forward, with likely hundreds more out there. They've sent their abuser away for life. And now it's about shining a light on the institutions that enabled him. It's a crusade, a movement seeking justice for the unprotected. And their work has only just begun.
To know that there was adults out there that didn't want to protect me, it just breaks my heart. And I'm standing up for the little girl that was inside of me that didn't feel like she had a voice. Because now I'm an adult and I can make a difference, and I'm going to.